Hello, salespeople of all makes, models, and brands. My name is Chance, and welcome to another episode of our prospecting series over here at the Sales Bible. Today we're going to be taking a look at a particularly fun one that I don't see a lot of salespeople doing or really even talking about. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at service customers. Now, this is a particularly interesting one because unlike the cold call video we did earlier, there is a price range attached to this one. That is between $0 and about $100. A little bit more, a little bit less, kind of depends on what you want to do, but I'll get into that a little bit later. This setup time is going to be about 15 minutes, so it is a little bit longer, but the daily time commitment is going to just be around 5 minutes or so, which puts you in a pretty good spot. It's a good way to start the day as well. In any case, let's take a look at what exactly it means to prospect a service customer. Service prospecting is essentially approaching a previous customer of your dealership who is either maintaining or servicing their vehicle with you and persuading them to get into something a little bit newer. Now, what I really like about this is it puts you in a really good spot to brush up on your social skills, to build rapport with your previous customer base, and in general, learn more about your make and the way your dealership interacts on a service end of things. Now, let's get into some advantages and disadvantages here. On the advantages side, it keeps you engaged. Much like cold calling, this is really beneficial during those slower months just to keep your mind active and your selling skills sharp. It helps you with your product knowledge. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much you read online or how many brochures you look at. Someone who's actually owned the vehicle you're selling is going to be in a much better position to tell you about the pros and cons of them. It also exposes you to more customers. It's kind of a mathematical equation. The more people you talk to, the more vehicles you sell. Anyone who's been in the industry will confirm that for you, and it really is great advice. And the managers like seeing it. They like seeing that initiative. They like seeing that drive, and they like seeing that creativity. Now let's get into some disadvantages. Other salespeople might not like it. Now, I don't really subscribe to this belief, but I do know salespeople who do, and the belief is once a customer belongs to someone or after someone sells them a car, that customer then belongs to that salesperson forever and always. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a very toxic way of looking at it, but I do know salespeople who are like that. Another disadvantage is it feels a little awkward at first. This is true when it comes to all new things. It just takes you a while to get used to the word track. It takes a while to get it to be a habit. And thirdly, there's the risk of getting into some heat. Heat is kind of the car sales equivalent of trouble. I suppose is probably the closest synonym to it. And this usually happens when you're dealing with a particularly disgruntled customer. It is rare and it is a good opportunity, but if you're not used to handling it, you can put yourself in pretty deep water really quick. A common example is if a person gets a much larger than expected repair bill for something that they feel should have been covered under warranty or something that they feel like should have been fixed prior. Essentially, anytime you get a person who feels like they've been wronged, they're really not going to have anything too nice to say about the dealership, the vehicles you sell, or even yourself sometimes. When it comes to these people, it's best just to take them seriously. Listen to what they have to say. I can't stress this enough. We will be doing a video on this later on, but the premise is that there is no better opportunity than an emotional person. For better or for worse, if a person's emotional, they're likely to ultimately make a decision, just to make it so their frustration is warranted in one form or another. In any case, those would be the main disadvantages. If you can think of any other advantages or disadvantages, please put them down in the comments down beneath. So how do you do it exactly? So there's about, I want to say, a dozen main approaches to this, maybe a little less, maybe like 8 or 9, but the one that I see most often, and this works particularly well if you have a customer lounge area for service customers. So you essentially walk in bright and early in the morning when most people are going to be there, and just say in a polite and kind of upbeat tone, "Good morning, are you in for service by chance?" And they'll be like, "Yes." I'm like, "Fantastic, my name's Chance. I'm actually with the upgrade program here at XYZ Dealership. I just want to take a moment. Thank you so much for servicing with us. We also have a couple incentives and programs aimed at previous customers. Is there any way you might consider getting to something newer? And then I might be interested if the deal's right. Great, have a seat at my desk. So there's a couple different ways to do this. It honestly is worth a video all to its own, but I've gotten pretty creative at this throughout the years. In terms of a rough success rate, if you do this once every morning, you're probably going to get like 3-4 sales a week out of it. It's not that difficult. Anyone who says it is a liar. All you really got to say is, if I could keep you in and around the same payment, then it makes sense to move forward, right? I kind of touched on that in the cold call video. If you find they're reluctant, just be like, and you got to feel them out first. You do have to have a little bit more of a conversation with them just to build that foundational rapport. But you can ask them questions like, hey, have you ever gotten your vehicle appraised before? And then run off, do their appraisal, and they'll be like, you know what, great news. I spoke with our appraiser. This is actually a vehicle we'd love to have on our lot. We do have a couple customers looking at something exactly like this right now. If I could get you into something newer and keep it around the same payment, would you consider moving forward with that? Or another one is, hey, out of curiosity, do you have any idea how much you still have owing on your vehicle? While you're here, I could run and check that out for you. Fantastic, have a seat at my desk. And then you run off, get a swag done. A swag is kind of like a trade appraisal without really looking at the vehicle, just a rough ballpark estimate. And then be like, you know what, while I was in there getting your payment information, I had a quick chance to chat with our appraiser. Based on what I was telling him, it sounds like he'd be really interested in it. And it looks like, based on his preliminary investigation, that you'll be in a positive equity position. So if I could get you into something a little bit newer, nicer, maybe more fuel efficient, keep your payments about the same, would that make sense? You just kind of got to follow up like that. Always ask for the business, right? Now let's move on to some tips. So tip number 1, and to be quite honest, the biggest one, and if you're going to run this, you're really going to need to be okay at this, you got to build rapport. Gotta be like, oh, that's amazing, Cassandra. Let's just roll with it. That's amazing, Cassandra. Out of curiosity, why did you end up deciding on the Civic? Like, what really motivated you to do that? Oh, yeah, you liked fuel economy. Oh, great. And is it still meeting your needs all right? Oh, fantastic. You have a family. Well, congratulations. How's the Civic? Do you have a second larger vehicle maybe? Oh, no, you don't. You're using the Civic. I see. I mean, have you had a chance to check out the HRV or the CRV? Or would you maybe even consider something in the pre-owned market? Something like that. Like, I'm kind of stuttering with my words there, but you usually want to get to know, like, do a kind of on-the-fly needs assessment, right? Just get their brain thinking about it. And then secondly, you're going to want to check any information you have access to. So this is particularly good if you can swing it where you can actually see in your CRM what customers are coming in for service, when they're coming in, stuff like that. And then you can actually see their previous service history. If you're familiar enough with how your current maintenance schedule works, then they might have a pretty big bill coming up. You might also be able to swing it with your current service department. If they have anyone with a bill over like $3,000, let's say, that they give you a call and you figure out some way to compensate them, buying pizza or something like that. I've had decent success with stuff like that in the past, so ask your managers about it, see what they think. Most sales managers won't typically care, to be honest with you, but I err on the side of caution. And tip number 3 would be to check ahead. If you have a conversation with someone and they got to head out before you really have a chance to move forward, check their CRM, see if they have an appointment scheduled in the future. If not, book one in for them, give them a call, just follow up, just follow up with them. And yeah, so those will be my main tips. If you have any other tips, please put them down in the comment section beneath. Really do appreciate it. Now let's get into how to change up your approach. So very similar to cold calling, I actually like using text messaging a lot for this. So if I can pop in the morning, do my usual spiel, and then anyone else just shoot a quick text message that I might have missed, just saying, hey, this is Chance from XYZ Dealership. Do you have a quick moment to chat via text? And then they'll say yes, no, whatever. And then you could also give them a ring, following that exact same logic. they're going to be really likely to pick up because they're going to think it's a call from service, but it's actually a call from you being like, hey, you know what, I saw your vehicle was in there. We had a meeting a couple days ago saying that we were actually looking for this type of vehicle. Would I have your permission to just do a quick trade appraisal on it and see what it would be worth? Something along those lines, workshop, whatever you like, but that's the general premise you're going to want to play with. And then a third thing that I found ludicrously effective, and this is where that price commitment comes in there, is even if you sell one car by talking to a service customer, reinvest a proportion of it and get yourself a brochure explaining what the upgrade program is, what your job is, what the next steps are going to be, stuff like that. I will be doing a video on how I make mine, so you'll be able to see a full walkthrough on that. And if you have any other ideas on how to change up the approach, please put it down in the comment section beneath. As well, if you have any ideas, word tricks, things you'd like to try out, things you have tried out and have worked, please put all that down in the comment section beneath. I really appreciate it, and I know for a fact everyone tuning in will as well. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy selling, everyone.